What happens when the privileged 29-year-old son of a billionaire CEO attacks a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran in a restaurant parking lot and then strolls into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom surrounded by 8 high-powered corporate attorneys ready to bulldoze the justice system with money and intimidation? Because in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, entitlement doesn't outrank accountability. And what unfolded next became one of the most devastating collapses of privilege Providence has ever seen. This wasn't just about the assault. This wasn't just about the arrogance. It all changed the moment Judge Caprio made one phone call to the Securities and Exchange Commission, a call that sparked a federal investigation, sent Sterling Industries stock crashing by 40% in a single afternoon, wiped out billions in shareholder value, and forced the billionaire CEO father to step down in humiliation. And before we dive deeper into this unbelievable case, you're watching Case Closed, the channel that exposes what really happens when power, money, and justice collide. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a story where privilege meets consequences. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, your city, your country, your hometown. We love seeing how far the Case Closed community reaches. It's a Thursday morning in Providence Municipal Court. The gallery is buzzing with anticipation because word has spread that something unprecedented is about to happen. Marcus Sterling, age 29, son of billionaire CEO Robert Sterling of Sterling Industries, faces charges of assault and battery on an elderly person stemming from an incident at the Capitol Grill 5 nights ago. The victim is 71-year-old James Martinez, a decorated Vietnam veteran who was having dinner with his wife for their 45th wedding anniversary when Marcus, drunk and belligerent, got into an argument with the valet over parking priority. When James politely suggested Marcus calm down, Marcus shoved him violently against a car, causing James to fall and suffer a broken collarbone and severe bruising. But what makes this morning extraordinary isn't just the charges. It's what's about to walk through those courtroom doors. The doors open, and Marcus Sterling enters, but he doesn't enter alone. Behind him, filling the entire aisle, are 8 lawyers. Not one attorney, not 2. 8 attorneys in expensive suits carrying briefcases moving information like a corporate legal SWAT team. Lead attorney Christopher Blackwell from Morrison & Blackwell, one of New York's most prestigious corporate law firms, walks directly behind Marcus. Behind him, 7 more attorneys fan out, taking up an entire row of benches. They're all wearing similar dark suits, all carrying identical leather portfolios with the Sterling Industries logo embossed in gold. The visual is shocking. It looks like a corporate board meeting, not a criminal proceeding. Several people in the gallery actually gasp. Judge Caprio watches this entrance with careful attention, his experienced eyes immediately recognizing this for what it is: legal intimidation. The message is clear. We have unlimited resources, unlimited firepower, and we're here to overwhelm you. Marcus himself is dressed in an expensive charcoal suit, designer watch, perfectly styled hair. He walks with the casual arrogance of someone who's never faced real consequences for anything in his life. He doesn't look concerned. He looks bored. The bailiff calls the case. The state of Rhode Island versus Marcus Robert Sterling. Charges: assault and battery on an elderly person. Judge Caprio reviews the case file, then looks up at the sea of attorneys now occupying a significant portion of his courtroom. Mr. Sterling, before we begin, I need to understand something. How many attorneys are representing you today? Christopher Blackwell stands smoothly. Your Honor, I'm Christopher Blackwell, lead counsel. With me are 7 associate attorneys from Morrison & Blackwell, along with specialists in various areas of law relevant to this case. Judge Caprio's eyebrows raise slightly. 8 attorneys for a simple assault and battery case. Your Honor, Mr. Sterling's family has significant interests to protect. We believe in thorough representation. I see. And who is paying for this thorough representation? Blackwell doesn't hesitate. Sterling Industries, Your Honor. Mr. Sterling's father, Robert Sterling, is the CEO and majority shareholder. The company maintains a legal defense fund for executive family members.
Judge Caprio's expression becomes very still. Sterling Industries is a publicly traded company, is it not? Yes, Your Honor. Listed on the New York Stock Exchange under ticker symbol ESTRL. And this publicly traded company is paying for 8 corporate attorneys to defend the CEO's son in a criminal assault case? Blackwell shifts slightly. It's within the company's legal framework to provide legal support for executive families, Your Honor. Judge Caprio makes a note but doesn't pursue it yet. Mr. Sterling, how do you plead? Marcus barely looks up. Not guilty. Mr. Blackwell, I assume you'd like to address the court? Blackwell stands in what follows is a masterclass in corporate legal intimidation. Your Honor, we move to dismiss all charges based on insufficient evidence, improper police procedure, violation of my client's rights during arrest, and Judge Caprio holds up his hand. Mr. Blackwell, we haven't even reviewed the evidence yet. You're filing motions to dismiss based on procedure you haven't seen. Another attorney stands. Your Honor, I'm David Chen, specialist in criminal procedure. I've reviewed the arrest records and found 17 procedural irregularities that... Judge Caprio interrupts again. Mr. Chen, sit down. Mr. Blackwell, control your team. This isn't a corporate boardroom. This is a courtroom. One attorney speaks at a time. A third attorney half stands. Your Honor, if I may address the procedural? No, you may not. Sit down. If you're not subscribed, hit that button right now, because what Judge Caprio does next will show you what happens when corporate legal intimidation meets a judge who won't be bullied. Judge Caprio addresses the prosecutor. Please present the evidence.
Assistant District Attorney Rachel Kim stands. Your Honor, 5 nights ago, at approximately 9:30 p.m., Mr. Sterling was at the Capitol Grill in downtown Providence. Security footage shows him arriving in his Lamborghini already visibly intoxicated. He became aggressive with the valet over parking priority. Immediately, 2 of Marcus's attorneys stand simultaneously. Objection, Your Honor, that's Judge Caprio's voice cuts through. Sit down, both of you. Ms. Kim has the floor. The attorneys sit, but the message is clear. They're going to object to everything, creating chaos and delay. Ada Kim continues. Mr. James Martinez, a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran, was leaving the restaurant with his wife after their anniversary dinner. He witnessed Mr. Sterling's aggressive behavior and politely suggested he calm down. Mr. Sterling responded by shoving Mr. Martinez violently against a vehicle, causing him to fall and suffer a broken collarbone. Another attorney stands. Your Honor, we dispute that characterization of sit down, Ms. Kim. Please continue. Your Honor, we have security footage, multiple witnesses, and Mr. Martinez's medical records. The evidence is clear. Judge Caprio signals the clerk. Let's see the security footage. Immediately, 3 attorneys stand at once. Your Honor, we object to the chain of custody. Sit down, all of you. I will hold every single one of you in contempt if you interrupt again. The courtroom is tense. The 8 attorneys are executing a strategy of constant disruption, trying to derail the proceedings through sheer volume of objections. The security footage plays. It shows Marcus's Lamborghini arriving. Marcus exits, clearly intoxicated, stumbling slightly. He's gesturing aggressively at the valet. James Martinez appears in frame, walking with his elderly wife. James approaches calmly, hands visible, clearly trying to de-escalate. Marcus turns toward him, points aggressively, then shoves James hard with both hands. James falls backward against a parked car and crumples to the ground. The footage is absolutely clear. There's no ambiguity. When it ends, Judge Caprio turns to Marcus. Mr. Sterling, that video shows you violently assaulting an elderly man. What do you have to say? Marcus shrugs. You got my face. I defended myself. Judge Caprio's jaw tightens. Mr. Sterling, the video shows Mr. Martinez standing several feet away with his hands visible. You attacked him unprovoked. Christopher Blackwell stands immediately. And this time, 4 other attorneys stand with him, creating a wall of suits. Your Honor, we have expert witnesses who will testify that the video angle is deceptive, that Mr. Martinez was actually the aggressor, that Judge Caprio stands up, his voice thundering through the courtroom. Enough. All of you sit down now. The attorneys sit, but Marcus smirks slightly. The intimidation strategy is working. They're turning the courtroom into chaos. Judge Caprio calls James Martinez to speak. The elderly veteran stands slowly, his arm in a sling, his shoulder clearly still causing him pain. Mr. Martinez, please tell the court what happened.
James' voice is quiet but steady. Your Honor, my wife and I were celebrating our 45th anniversary. We were walking to our car when I saw this young man. He gestures toward Marcus, screaming at the valet, calling him names, threatening him. I walked over and said, "Sir, please calm down. There's no need for this." He looked at me and said, "Mind your own business, old man." I said, "I'm just trying to help." That's when he shoved me. I fell against the car. I heard something crack in my shoulder. The pain was immediate. Judge Caprio asks gently, "Mr. Martinez, how has this injury affected you?" Your Honor, I'm 71 years old. I served in Vietnam. I worked as a mechanic for 40 years. This broken collarbone means I can't work on cars anymore. It was my retirement hobby. I can't lift my grandson. My wife has to help me dress because I can't raise my arm. Marcus actually yawns visibly during the victim's testimony. Judge Caprio's eyes flash with anger. "Mr. Sterling, did you just yawn while Mr. Martinez was describing his injuries?" Marcus shrugs. "I mean, it's unfortunate, but accidents happen. My dad'll write him a check. Problem solved." The gallery erupts. Judge Caprio has to call for order. "Mr. Sterling, this wasn't an accident. You deliberately assaulted him." Christopher Blackwell stands immediately, and this time all 8 attorneys stand with him in perfect choreographed unison. It's clearly rehearsed intimidation. Blackwell's voice is smooth. "Your Honor, my client is offering to make Mr. Martinez whole financially. Sterling Industries is prepared to offer a substantial settlement." Judge Caprio's face becomes a mask of controlled fury. "Mr. Blackwell, are you attempting to buy your way out of criminal charges in my courtroom?" "Your Honor, we're simply offering practical resolution." "Sit down, all 8 of you, now." They sit, but the damage is done. They've turned the proceedings into a circus. Judge Caprio makes a decision. He looks at the 8 attorneys, then at Marcus, then at Christopher Blackwell. "Mr. Blackwell, you stated that Sterling Industries, a publicly traded company, is paying for all 8 of these attorneys to defend Mr. Sterling in a criminal case. Is that correct?" "Yes, Your Honor. It's within the company's legal, and Sterling Industries is traded on the New York Stock Exchange." "Yes, Your Honor. Meaning it has thousands of shareholders who own pieces of that company." "Yes, Your Honor. And those shareholders' money, their investment, is being used to pay 8 corporate lawyers to defend the CEO's son for drunkenly assaulting a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran over a parking space?" Blackwell shifts uncomfortably. "Your Honor, the company has broad discretion. And broad discretion to use shareholder funds for the CEO's son's personal criminal defense?" Judge Caprio picks up his phone. "Clerk, get me the Securities and Exchange Commission Enforcement Division on the line." Marcus sits up straight for the first time. "Wait, what?" Christopher Blackwell's face goes pale. "Your Honor, you don't think that's necessary. Mr. Blackwell, you just admitted in open court that a publicly traded company is using shareholder funds to pay for 8 attorneys to defend the CEO's son in a criminal case. I think the SEC would be very interested in that." All 8 attorneys are suddenly whispering urgently to each other. Marcus looks panicked. Within minutes, the courtroom speakerphone activates. A professional female voice comes through. "This is Director Patricia Morgan, SEC Enforcement Division. Am I speaking with Judge Frank Caprio?" "Yes, Director Morgan. Thank you for taking my call. I have you on speakerphone in Providence Municipal Court. What can I do for you, Your Honor?" "Director Morgan, I have a situation that may require SEC attention. I'm hearing a criminal assault case involving Marcus Sterling, son of Robert Sterling, CEO of Sterling Industries, a publicly traded NYSE company. I'm familiar with Sterling Industries." Director Morgan, Mr. Sterling is represented by 8 corporate attorneys from Morrison and Blackwell. His lead attorney just stated on the record that Sterling Industries, the publicly traded company, is paying for all 8 attorneys as part of a legal defense fund for executive family members. These shareholder funds are being used to defend the CEO's son for drunkenly assaulting a 71-year-old veteran in a restaurant parking lot. There's a long pause. When Director Morgan speaks again, her voice is sharp. Your Honor, let me make sure I understand. A publicly traded company is using shareholder funds to pay for the CEO's son's criminal defense in a personal assault case? That's what was just stated in my courtroom. Yes, Your Honor. That's potentially securities fraud, misuse of corporate assets for personal benefit of executive families. If Sterling Industries is using shareholder money, funds that should be used for legitimate business purposes, to pay for the CEO's son's personal legal problems, that's a violation of fiduciary duty and possibly criminal misappropriation. Marcus looks like he might be sick. The 8 attorneys are in complete panic, several of them frantically typing on phones. Director Morgan continues. Your Honor, I'm opening an immediate investigation into Sterling Industries' use of corporate funds. We'll be issuing subpoenas for all financial records related to this legal defense fund. We'll also be notifying Sterling Industries shareholders through official channels that their investments may have been misused. What happens next, Director Morgan? Your Honor, when the market opens tomorrow and shareholders learn that company funds were used for the CEO's son's criminal defense, Sterling Industries stock will likely face significant pressure. We're also freezing the company's legal defense fund pending investigation. And Robert Sterling, as CEO, will face personal liability for misuse of corporate assets. Judge Caprio asks, is there anything else, Director Morgan? Yes, Your Honor. We're coordinating with the FBI's White-Collar Crime Division. If we find criminal intent in the misuse of shareholder funds, federal charges will be filed. The call ends. The courtroom is absolutely silent. Judge Caprio looks at the 8 attorneys. Gentlemen, I assume Sterling Industries will no longer be funding your representation of Mr. Sterling. Christopher Blackwell stands, his confidence completely shattered. Your Honor, we need to consult with our client and with Sterling Industries corporate counsel about our continued representation. I thought you might. Mr. Sterling, you assaulted a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran. You showed no remorse. You yawned during his testimony, and your father's company used shareholder money to pay for a legal army to intimidate this court. Here is your sentence. Assault and battery on an elderly person. 6 months in county jail, 3 years probation, 400 hours community service at veteran organizations, mandatory anger management, and full restitution to Mr. Martinez for all medical expenses and rehabilitation costs. Furthermore, you are ordered to write a formal apology to Mr. Martinez to be read aloud in this courtroom. Marcus is stunned into silence. Within 2 hours, news breaks. SEC investigates Sterling Industries for misuse of shareholder funds. The stock market reacts immediately. Sterling Industries shares trading at $147 at market open crashed to $88 by market close, a 40% drop. Billions in shareholder value erased. The SEC releases a statement. Sterling Industries used corporate funds to pay for CEO's son's criminal defense. Investigation ongoing, shareholders advised. That evening, Robert Sterling, the Billionaire CEO, holds an emergency press conference. He's visibly shaken. I authorized the use of company legal resources for my son's case. I believed it was within my authority as CEO. I was wrong. I've destroyed shareholder value, violated their trust, and abused my position. I'm resigning as CEO effective immediately and selling my shares to fund reimbursement to the company for all legal fees paid. Marcus Sterling serves his 6 months. When released, he's different. The entitlement is gone. He meets James Martinez. Mr. Martinez, I assaulted you over a parking space. I yawned during your testimony. I used my father's company funds to hire 8 attorneys to bully this courtroom. I torpedoed my father's reputation and cost shareholders billions. I take full responsibility. I'm truly sorry. James shakes his hand gently.
Mr. Sterling, you were 29 years old believing your father's wealth made you invincible. But now you understand, money doesn't buy respect. Only the way you treat people does. And if this story hit you the way it hit us, make sure you subscribe to Case Closed for more powerful moments where Judge Frank Caprio proves that no stack of lawyers, no corporate influence, and no billionaire surname puts anyone above the law. Remember Judge Caprio's timeless lesson: you can't purchase your way out of accountability. That's the legacy Judge Frank Caprio leaves behind. That's the professionalism Director Morgan showed. And that's the humility James Martinez stood for. Justice delivered, arrogance defeated, accountability restored. Before you go, drop a comment telling us where in the world you're watching from, and let's keep the Case Closed community growing worldwide.